And that should actually be a witness to folks. Like, you think about how, and it's not a competition, but you think about how successful the church has been and how, for the most part, continues to sustain itself and sees active growth. And, you don't have branches and wards and stakes that are, completely on fire, that they're actually, things are kind of staying in line within the guide rails, like kind of moving forward, progressing forward. You think about the folks that the Lord and the leadership of the church have to work with, and it really is a modern day miracle that the church does continue to move forward the way that it does, and as well and as organized and as successfully as it has and as it continues to do so. Now, of course, that certainly does not mean that local units don't have problems and don't have struggles and don't have issues. Of course, that does happen.
Well, there's parts of the world where the majority of the leadership, whether it's Africa or South America or wherever, there's parts of the world where the leadership is all like new members still. Like you have bishops and stake presidents who may have only have a year in the church or a couple of years, where it's like they may not even have that firm of a grip on all the doctrine. It's like, but they're the weak and the unlearned that the Lord has to make use of, and they're called to it. And like you're saying, it really is a miracle that the work moves forward with like with no hiccups at all. Like from a macro perspective, like
it is amazing to look at how well the church has been maintained, and in fact grows and becomes more stable and becomes more of a force for good. And I think,
moving in the direction of Zion, like you can see it happening.
And I think you cannot convert, nor can you really sustain your testimony on logic and reason. It really comes down to faith into action, and that witness that only the Spirit can provide. But if people were being honest, I think of all these people who choose to leave the church. If they would look at the church in totality, the way that they look at every other organization or analyze the rest of the world, and if they just said, look at how freaking amazing the church, how well it has been organized and maintained and structured, despite all the weaknesses, despite all the issues, despite disagreements and personal.
And how well it's corrected itself from time to time as well.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. And, people can say, well, the church has only done certain things when they felt pressure from the outside. Whatever. I get that. You can have that opinion and that view. That's fine. But overall, you look at what it's been able to do with essentially a volunteer, workforce, which, corporations today could never even fathom.
Thank you for watching. If you found this content spiritually enlightening, please like, comment, and subscribe.
Like the gospel, these little things make all the difference, and it helps the algorithm push out better content for everyone to enjoy on YouTube.